Welcome to the second episode of Campfire Retreat with Mark. Let's check the old GPS and see where we're going today, shall we? So apparently I've saved these wrong in my GPS. They're all in one route. But anyway, we're going to check out what I called originally fire spot number 2. The elevation's a little bit higher than the spot we're at last time, and you're not going to believe the view. All right, ready to tag along? All right, we've reached our destination. Fire pit. No idea what the name of this valley is, but it definitely is gorgeous. Now would be a great time to find yourself a drink, maybe a cozy spot to sit, and we'll be back when the fire's going. Good day, my friends, and welcome to the second episode of the Campfire Retreat with Mark. It's such a gorgeous day. We're finally getting some beautiful sunshine. We had some much needed rain, and I was thankful to see that, but it's very, very nice to see a day like today. So once again, we're out in the woods in British Columbia. It's beautiful, beautiful province to do any sort of outdoor activities, ATVing, snowshoeing, skiing, camping, you name it. An amazing, amazing province to be in. I'm sure the other provinces have their beautiful spots too, but I'm very glad that I'm here. So last time we were talking about responsibilities and relieving ourselves from a bunch of stress and relieving a bunch of things that we've been holding on inside that we may not even known about. So I hope that was helping you, or that has helped you, and that it's made sense and you're starting to put it into practice. So we were talking about responsibilities on the last episode, and I wanted to dive into that a little bit more today. And yeah, we need to take responsibility for ourselves, but the important thing to understand, to realize, and to put into practice is that we are not responsible for anyone else. The only person we're responsible for is ourselves. And if you haven't been living life that way, I suggest you start making those changes, because it'll be so much weight lifted off your shoulders. When we get married to someone, yes, we were responsible to them to carry out the things that we agreed that we would do in that relationship. Same thing with a friend. You know, when you become friends with people, you basically make a commitment to a responsibility to be their friend and that sort of thing. But we're not responsible for people's actions or what they've done. You may not like your kids' choices. You may not like your husband or wife's choices, but you're not responsible for them. everyone. Something else I wanted to dive into in this episode today was self care. Nowadays, it seems that if someone is looking after themselves, they almost look like they're being selfish. And it really isn't. If we aren't 100%, we can't expect to look after anybody else. It's really important that we take time each day for ourselves, no matter what it might be, whether sitting by the fire, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's having a hot bath or spending time in the hot tub, maybe it's going for a hike, taking the dogs for a walk. It really doesn't matter what it is, but self care is super, super important. And it seems that humanity or humans nowadays are so off track and we're not flowing through life as gracefully and easily as we were meant to be. And I think when we forego taking care of ourselves and when we forego meditating and things like that, it really plays a huge part in how smoothly our lives can seriously be. Meditation is so about calming the mind. Even if it's just a 5 or 10 minute meditation each day that you take the time for, it's your time. It's your time by yourself. Get into a quiet room, or even if you have to go in your car, whatever it takes for you to get that 5 minutes of peace and quiet to yourself and just relax and slow down or quiet the mind. If you can get into the practice of doing that, you will find decisions in life are much easier to make. You will be more in tune with what's going on around you and maybe pick up on things that you weren't able to pick up on before. Meditation is absolutely huge, and that'll be today's ember number one, meditation. Definitely look into it and make it a daily practice. The people in my life that meditate daily have shared with me incredible changes in their lives, and it is absolutely huge. Look on YouTube for great meditations from people like Kelly Howell or maybe Dr. Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, just to name a few. Fantastic, fantastic meditations out there. And if you're brand new at it, understand these things that I'm sharing with you. For you to put them into practice, it's almost like using a muscle you never knew you had. So the more often you implement these things like meditation and forgiveness and responsibility and all that sort of stuff, the more times you think about it and implement it when and where you can, the easier it's going to be. The more it's going to make sense, the quicker you'll get into that mode. It's just exercising a muscle, like I said, that we never knew we had. You could put some ear pods in while you're taking a hot bath and just relax in the hot water and have this meditation guide you. And that's what I was going to say. If you're brand new at this meditation thing, definitely look for guided meditations. It is so much easier for somebody else to drive the bus rather than you, so to speak. So look for great guided meditations. They could be 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, half an hour long. It really doesn't matter. And there's amazing healing meditations out there. Kelly Howell has got a fantastic healing meditation. And she explains to you before she even gets into it that our bodies were designed and meant to heal any disease. It has all the neurochemicals and everything that it can deploy at any time and exactly where they need to be. The body was made to heal itself virtually from any disease, according to Kelly Howell. It's an amazing gift. And as I said, you cannot go wrong by getting into meditation. That should be something that's first and foremost on your list of things to do to improve your life. Something else I wanted to talk about in today's episode is the power of our words. We've all heard sayings like, our tongues are stronger than swords or a very strong tool or weapon, so to speak. And it is so true. It is absolutely so true. One of the things that could be done in order to improve your life is really focusing on the choices of words you're choosing. For example, if there's something that I need to remember, I'm getting packed up, about ready to hop in the truck and leave the house. A lot of times I will tell myself, remember your keys, not don't forget your keys. Because the mind doesn't know how to act out don't. The only word in that sentence that knows how to act out is the word forget. So if you reverse it, remember your keys, the mind knows, hey, I know how to remember. Okay, we'll remember those keys. It's also good to keep in mind that our words really dictate, they set a precedence on maybe the situations that we're going into. Our words could hurt ourselves and others terribly, whether we know it or not. My father was one that lived his life in complete and total fear. He wasn't a very educated man, unfortunately. Barely knew how to read and write. But along with that came an immense fear, and he was always too afraid to look into things deeper. He was too afraid to go find answers, it seemed. And he was uh, almost afraid to get educated. Education as a whole was not very good for him. It wasn't a very great experience. And I guess he kind of shied away from that. But our words seriously can help with some of those situations. If we continuously think or feel or speak out loud that we are not good at something, we never will be. If we think that we are a second grade person, we will be. The interesting thing about all of that, it's again coming back to that energy I was talking about in the first episode, right? It's the energy that we emit out. So if we think very low of ourselves, we are going to be emitting that kind of energy. Others around us will pick up on that and they will act accordingly, I guess you could say. Some of them might take advantage of us, or some of them might just feel sorry for us, or maybe even back away from us for some certain reason. And it's usually because of the energy that we are emitting. It's the vibe that we're putting out there. And oftentimes, I'm sure you have also been in this situation where, I don't know, you're at a gathering or maybe you're just at home and somebody walks in the front door and the entire dynamic of that house or that function changes. And it's because of the energy that they are emitting. And our words seriously have control over that energy. So it really makes a difference how you portray things in life. Look for the positives in absolutely everything, because there is something to find. Rather than talking negatively all the time, all you're doing is attracting more of the same. It's very interesting how energy works and how the universe works. And whatever it is that we're projecting out, we receive back. It's almost like the boomerang effect, really. And if you've ever noticed somebody that's always got great luck, or maybe someone that's got always bad luck, it has a lot to do with where their mindset is at. If they are constantly thinking that good things happen to them all the time, I guarantee you it will. But if they're thinking all the time that they never catch a break, that everything bad always happens to them, I guarantee that's going to be their outcome for them too. Once you start to realize this, you really want to become picky as to where your thoughts and your words are. And it doesn't matter if you don't know something. I guess that was the reason why I was bringing my father up. But when I would try to teach my dad something, hey, Dad, check this out. Oh, I don't know anything about that. I know, Dad. This is why I'm trying to teach. No, I don't really know too much about that. And, he was so afraid to be taught, or he was so in the belief that he couldn't be taught, that what he knew is what he knew, and that was it. That could be such a horrible way to live life, because the opportunities that he missed, he's passed on now, passed away in 2010, but the opportunities he missed along the way would have just been unfathomable. He could have had such a better life. He could have felt better about himself. He could have had much less stress. And I think he's been a good teacher in my life of what not to be. And I think many of you out there might actually have the same thing. But it really depends on where your thoughts and where your words are at. Always thinking positively. And as soon as you catch yourself otherwise, stop and redirect yourself. And it's funny that I put my hat on for this particular part of the video when it's actually time to take it off to show you something. But, okay, so let's say you're having a really hard time focusing on the positives. And let's face it, it's a habit. It's something that we've done all of our lives. So do not expect this to change overnight. If you're having troubles with where your thoughts are at, you're just on a negative pattern and you finally figure it out, like, oh, where am I going? Here's a simple thing to do. Whatever hand you like to use, wipe your hand. It's so simple, but yet it's a method of clearing your thought process and where it's at. But what seems to happen, what I've noticed from my own experience, is that our thoughts might be small, whether they're negative or positive, but what comes back to us seems to grow exponentially. So what I mean by that is that you might be trying to change for the better, like we're talking about, and it may not seem that you're doing much in the attempt, but you'll soon notice that what comes back to you is much more exponential than the initial attempt that you made. See, this system is very much like the law of gravity. We know that if we have something in our hand, if we open our hand, it's going to drop, right? We know that that is going to work 24/7, 365 days a year. It's a guaranteed thing that gravity is here to stay, and it works regardless whether it's a benefit to us or not. And these things that I'm sharing with you, this way of thinking, it works 24/7, 365. It never stops. It's the same thing. So as much as we are guaranteed that if we set something down, that it's going to stay there, if we start thinking positively, we know things are going to be coming back in the same fashion. So get extremely picky. Get extremely picky as to what you're thinking and change that whenever possible. And remember, do the wipe. If you really need, you can do it as often times as you like during the day. It doesn't matter if somebody happens to be looking at you. It's not like you're doing something silly, right? Just simple wipe of the head, whatever. They don't need to know what it's about. And just carry on with your day. It really does work. So that'll be another ember for you to take along with you today. Do your wipe. And really stay focused on the words and thoughts that you're using, because they will change your life for the better or for the worse. The choice will be up to you. And these simple things that I'm teaching you, remember, guys, that this is 80% belief and 20% doing. The attempt, the intent is what it's all about. Something else I've been wanting to share with you, and I'm surprised I haven't remembered till now, but a lot of what I'm sharing with you in these videos is actually coming from this book, and it's called You Unleashed, and it's from a cousin of mine by the name of Sharon Joseph. Sharon is a shaman. She's an amazing spiritualist. She has an incredible gift that has changed so many lives, and she's just a huge inspiration for me. And I was so thankful when she decided to give me this book. And so what I'm sharing with you in the next few videos is going to be based off what is in this book. So I do encourage you to check out our website. I believe it's www.sharonjoseph.com or .ca. Can't remember which one it is now. But so here's your exercise for the day. Again, this is going to be focused on where you are putting your energy, where your thoughts are at. So this is going to be like a daily exercise. Do it for however length of time you can accomplish. But let's face it, we all of us have busy lives and stuff, so I'm not expecting anybody to carry this out for 20 minutes or an hour or anything like that. But here's the exercise, and it's just being thankful. So let's say driving on the way to work, right? You got some time in your car, whether it be 5 minutes or an hour. You got some time by yourself in that car. This would be a perfect time. Start thinking and talking out loud about the things that you are grateful for. And yes, it's great to be thankful for the obvious, right? Thank you for the roof over your shoulders. Thank you for your loving spouse. Thank you for your children. Thank you for your job. All of those are great. But I also encourage you to think outside the box. Thank you for the color that the sky is. Thank you for the technology that cleans the water that we drink. Thank you for how strong our hearts beat and keep us alive. Just anything different, as well as the things we've already mentioned. But see how many you can come up with. But more importantly, pay attention to how you're feeling and how that changes the rest of your day after you've done that simple exercise. It's funny how we are as human beings, but to be thankful is super, super important. And it just sets us off in that right tone, that right headspace, that right path to invite, to welcome more positive things to come our way. So those are the embers and your exercise for this video. Please, before you leave, make sure that you hit subscribe and like. I look at it as making a donation at the local museum. You walk in, they've got that little container, you put your pocket change in or something. It is something so simple for us to do, put that change in. And it's so simple for viewers to do, just hit that one button. But to that museum or to that content creator, it means so much. But with that, guys, I am so thankful you're here. Thank you for checking out the video. Please feel free to pass this along to anybody who might benefit from it. I mean, let's face it, I'm pretty sure we all could to some degree or another. And we'll see you then on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.